Today, I'm going to show you step by step how to fix a leaking bathroom faucet. Now, this will also take care of any water that may be leaking from around the handle as well, not just the faucet head. If you haven't fixed one before, you may think that it means you'll need a whole new faucet, but that's not the case here. Essentially, what's happening is the cartridge inside the handle is worn out and can no longer hold back the water pressure, thus causing the leak. The first thing you'll want to do is figure out which cartridge is bad by turning off the water supply one side at a time. I started with the cold side, and after closing that valve, I noticed the faucet was still leaking, so the problem is coming from the hot side. I'm going to shut off the water flow by rotating the knob until it won't turn anymore. As you can see, the dripping has stopped and now we can take apart the handle without having to worry about getting wet. Although, you might want to have a washcloth or hand towel nearby, and you'll see why later. Depending on the brand and model of your faucet, you may have to use an Allen key in order to disassemble the handle. But for this one, it's just a matter of unscrewing a few pieces. So now that the handle is off, we'll need to remove the nut which is holding the cartridge in place. Grab some channel locks and loosen the nut until you can take it off by hand. There is a tool that makes this a lot easier to get out, but if you don't have it, then here's the next best way. Look for the notch on the side. While trying not to damage the threads, use a small flathead screwdriver to loosen the cartridge before grabbing those channel locks again. I know some people spray a thin layer of silicone onto the old cartridge and reuse it, but I'd feel better about buying a new one. Oh well, let's see what we can find. If you're unsure about which cartridge to get, you can always bring the old one into the store for comparison, but be sure to check the label because these cartridges are brand specific. Just like the old cartridge, the new one will only fit one way because of the notch on the side. And remember that rag I mentioned earlier? Well, if you don't soak up some of the water that's inside the handle, when you're trying to install the cartridge, this will happen. So try to get as much water out as possible before installing the new cartridge. It'll save you some cleanup. Hand tighten the nut and then use the channel locks to snug it down. After tightening the nut, if you notice the faucet itself is loose, don't worry about it because that'll be fixed last. Now you're ready to install the handle pieces. Turn the water on and let it run for at least 1 minute. While that's running, go ahead and inspect the areas around the faucet and water lines for any leaks. And lastly, to fix the loose faucet, all you need to do is tighten the lock nut by hand. As you've seen, this is an easy fix and much cheaper than buying a new faucet. Thanks for watching. Just as I thought. This store is dangerously low on faucet selection.